wanted to start out of the gate today and talk about some things buyers can do to prepare themselves, for a bidding war type situation. And we've talked a lot about, getting your mortgage stuff lined up right from the beginning.
Absolutely. One of the things that always important, especially with how hot the real estate market is right now, is to have that pre-qualification knocked out before you go and look at homes. What you don't want to do is go find the home that you want to make an offer on. You haven't been pre-qualified yet. By the time it takes you to do that, someone might come in and scoop up the house before you have a chance to even get your financing lined up. So important to get that taken care of.
Yeah, I think, and again, because sometimes people find out that there's stuff in their credit report, or they didn't know that 1099 income is different then, they didn't know how long they had to be on the job.
Right.
So you find all that stuff out up front so you can prepare and plan and strategize for it.
Right, and one of the things that Atlantic Bay does that a lot of other lenders don't do, we can send up a full application of underwriting without an address and get a full approval prior to someone finding a house, which kind of the same deal if you're in a multiple offer situation. If you're offering the same thing as someone else, but you can let the seller know, look, I've already been through underwriting, I've already got an approval, I just got to find a house. You might get the leg up on your competition.
And Richard, so what happens, I think, a lot of the time, obviously the consumer doesn't want to spend money on insurance till they have a house, and they can't really quote insurance, sometimes, but if they've narrowed to the list of 5 or 6 homes that they're deciding on, probably not a bad idea to get quotes on multiple properties just so they're prepared, because sometimes you might have, the risk in that is that someone could be waiting on an insurance quote for a few hours and then the house goes under contract, but at least they're prepared and they have everything up front versus going under contract and then finding out, oh, this one needs flood or the insurance is higher than I expected.
Absolutely, and as insurance agents, we look at homes in a little bit different way than the standard person looks at a house. And we can dig and find out a lot of information. Don't go, if you're just starting the buying process, don't go to your insurance agent and hit them up every other day with another house for the next 30 days. Because, it takes, if you do an insurance quote properly, it takes hours to do insurance quotes and to come up with the right price. But if you've got it narrowed down to maybe 2 or 3 or 4 that you're looking at, the insurance should definitely be part of that decision-making process, because we uncover undisclosed sinkhole claims, which really affects houses. We uncover homes that have 30-year-old roofs that pretty much substantially increases the insurance value. There's lots of different things that we uncover, and 3 of those 4 houses might be great and might have inexpensive insurance, but we might go to that 4th house and say, listen, if this is the house you really, really want, it might cost you, double what these other houses are going to because of X or Y. And if you want that house, great. If that's the one you decide that you really can't live without, great. But at least that way going in and you're able to plan for it, rather than getting a week out from closing and all of a sudden, oh my God, how are we going to afford this? Or worse yet, we don't qualify for our loan anymore because the insurance is so high, and then you got to start the process all over again.
And I think one important part of that too is also, getting a strategy depending on whether you're buying a home for yourself, for someone else's investment, a rental, a flip. Insurance is going to vary on every one of those, and sometimes people will go out. We've had situations go out where, a customer went to maybe an inexperienced insurance agent and said, hey, I got quotes for these 2 homes, and I'm buying them to rent them. And then come to find out they got an HO policy, they got a homeowner's homeowner occupant policy.
And the same thing, the big popular thing right now, and we deal with them on a regular basis, is house flippers. And flipping a house is a totally different insurance situation than buying a house that you're going to live in. And everybody wants to be a flipper lately because of all the popular shows on TV.
I know, right?
Right, but
they all want to be a realtor too. Unfortunately, it glamorizes what we do, and I watch those shows, and I'm like, it's not like that.
It's so unrealistic.
It totally can't be that easy.
I've met the Altman brothers, the Property Brothers. We meet them at different networking events and stuff, and you talk to them, and you know how much of it's staged.
Right.
It just doesn't. It's very rare for it to happen like this show on TV. It is staged. It's a TV show.
Right, and the insurance is totally different, and you got to be prepared for it, because in the end, I can write any kind of policy to make it cheap and hand you a piece of paper, and you're able to close. But if anything happens and you have to file a claim, you want that insurance policy to pay out. So you have to have the right type of insurance, because you have to be, the insurance company has to come in and take care of whatever damaged your house.
Yeah,
And if they're not doing that, you're not going to be happy.
I think the reason I bring this up is because, there was a study this week about, top buyer and seller regret. And it was not prepping soon enough, not getting ready soon enough. And, you looked at the report that said, both of them starting early, being strategic, being realistic, getting everything squared away early, the communication, all those things, people I think procrastinate and they don't do it quick enough. And then what happens, like you said, Mike, they don't get their approval before they start shopping. They find a dream home and then they lose it because they put the cart before the horse.
Right, and a lot of people too will go to their bank, for instance, and you might not get an answer quickly. All the time I run into situations, I'm just going to go to my bank and get a pre-qualification. 3 days later, they still don't have an answer.
Yeah.
So,
It's
or they
completely
can't get
different.
them on the
A
nights,
bank is
weekends.
completely different than a mortgage lender. I mean, it's the difference between, it's a specialist versus a generalist.
Right.
It's like going to a cafeteria that serves everything, or saying, what, I really want to go to the best sushi restaurant. If you go to a cafeteria, your sushi is probably not going to be great.
No.
But if you go to the best sushi restaurant in town, and I think that's the difference too. You go to a bank, it's more, they sell a bunch of different products. It's more generalist. You go to a mortgage lender, they're honed in on that.
Exactly.
So, but yeah, top buyer and seller regret, not prepping soon enough.